Hi Monica, I'm Brad Phillips here with Puppy Steps Training, and today I've got Bruno with me. So he's hanging out in the crate. I'm super excited to show you everything that we've been working on. He is a very fun dog. I'm sure that you're just extremely excited to get him to Hong Kong. He does have a lot of travel ahead of him, and so to start out, before we jump into all of his training, I just want to take a second and talk about that. So with these couple days of travel, he is going to undergo a lot of stress. And so it is going to be very important that you are patient with him and give him the time to decompress. Don't jump into trying to do all these commands or go and walking him through a crowded environment too quick. Like, give him some time to decompress. Over the first week, we want to really focus on the manners, make sure that those those are in place and he understands that he can't get away with being ill-mannered with you, and then the commands will come. So he is, once again, a very good dog. He's got plenty of energy, and so you'll see that come out. The first couple days he'll probably be a little bit calmer, and then you're going to see that energy come. So just the biggest thing, like I said, allow him to decompress, focus on the manners, take it easy on everything else. So Bruno has also done, our service prep program. So as we go throughout this demonstration, a lot of that is incorporated in. So we have higher levels of expectations, and so he should be able to do some really nice stays, a lot more impulse control, and obviously we've taken him out into public quite a bit and worked on that, which he focuses really well on us. He does love people, and so that is a heavy distraction. And so it is important that as we get him out and you start practicing this in these different environments, that you focus on quality over quantity, and we're really helping him create the same expectations with you as he does with us. So what we're going to do now, we're going to hop into his manners, and then we'll go over the obedience commands, and then we'll finish off with his leash work. So like I said, Bruno's doing really, really well. He does have a lot of energy, and he is a little bit more of a vocal dog, but he is very well-mannered, and we need to make sure that he is well-mannered with you. So it is important that we follow through and we are consistent with all of this training, which leads me to point number one. Make sure that you watch that first video before going any further. So that does explain the consistency, the follow-through, and the management, as well as it goes into the expectations with crate and potty training. So he's been doing really, really well with potty training. He rings the bells. He understands that that means to go outside, but he is going into a new environment, and so I would make sure that you are consistent with that and you help him kind of transition those expectations to your home. With the crate training, because he is going on this long trip in the crate, we do want to make sure that we're keeping that a positive experience when he gets home. Obviously still put him in there both when you're home as well as when you're gone and at night, but also the first couple days, make it so that it's a comfortable place, because he probably is going to be a little stressed with the crate after spending, how many hours in it. So now let's dive in. Let's jump into our manners. So the first one we're going to talk about are his gates and his doorways. So we have taught Bruno that every time he comes out of the crate, he goes through a closed door with us, or he goes through a gate or a kennel door, he is expected to stay. So we have taught him these thresholds, and it should be an automatic behavior. Now you can teach the same behavior with any threshold in your home, but bare minimum, keep that to exterior doors as well as the crate doors. So, like I said, this should be an automatic behavior. The first day or two, as you're teaching him, you are going to have to teach him which thresholds are applicable at your home. So, when I open up this crate, he, once again, is expected to wait. He doesn't need to be sitting. I don't care whether he's laying down or standing. He just needs to show that he's under control and he's waiting patiently for me to release him. Now, even if he just stuck one paw out of that crate, I would tell him no and close that door. But I'm not going to actually tell him to stay. Once I'm ready for him to come out, I'll say, okay, and then he's free to go. So he doesn't get a treat for that. Just regaining that freedom is the reward. When we go through like a house door, typically if we're going outside, I have a leash attached to him, so that's a really easy correction. If I need, I can just pop that leash and make sure that he's staying. I can also use my feet and block him if needs be. Like I said, he's going to need to be taught which thresholds this applies to in your home. So he knows that any door that we're going through together, as well as all of our crates and gates. So I am going to pull him out now. So I'll open this crate door, I'll release him. If he tried to walk out, once again, I'll correct him. If he did manage to just run through, I would tell him no, go and get him, and have him do it again. So he never gets to end on failure. Failure is a very important part of learning. It's just never where we end. Instead, I'm always going to follow through, and I will help him succeed. Now, even if that was the house door and he ran outside, I'm going to tell him no, I'm going to go and get him, and we are going to do it again. I do not want him thinking that if he's fast enough or if he's sneaky enough, he can get away with ignoring this behavior. So let's go ahead and get him out. Once I do get him out, I'm going to put this leash on. We're going to walk over, have him ring the bells, and then show you this outside door, both going in and out. Okay, good boy. Like I said, I don't care what position he's in as long as he is waiting patiently. So now we're going to walk over. I'm going to have him ring the bells. Okay, outside, good boy. So once he rings them, I say, okay, outside. Okay, outside, good boy. And now we're going to take him out. So once again, the expectation is that he's waiting. Oh, there he thought about it. He stopped right when I went to correct him. But I don't care whether he's sitting, laying down, standing. He just needs to show that he's in control and he's waiting patiently. Okay, good boy. Okay, releases him through. Same expectation for coming back in. Don't care what position. He just needs to be looking to me and waiting patiently. Okay, good boy. Good boy. So that's my expectations with the crates or any gates and doorways, as well as you saw him ring the bells. So anytime he does ring the bells, we're taking him out to the bathroom and then right back in. He doesn't get to play. He doesn't get to run around and get distracted. It's just to go to the bathroom and come right back in. So now we're going to talk about his greeting. So this is going to be the first thing that you really work on with him. So my expectation is that when Bruno comes up and says hi to me, he sits in order to get my attention. So this is whether I call him over or whether he just walks up and approaches and wants to see me. So the first exercise you're going to do is to encourage this behavior. So you're going to take the leash, you're going to take your treats, and we're just going to practice calling him to us just with his name and waiting for him to sit. So it looks like this. I'm just going to say, Bruno. I take a few steps back. He walks over. Okay. Once he sits, I say, okay, give him a treat. So I'm going to get him kind of walking again. Bruno. Okay, good boy. One more time. So you're going to do this 3 times in a row, and everybody that has regular interactions with Bruno is going to do this a couple times a day for the first week. So this is going to help Bruno recognize you. He's going to engage with you. It helps him start implementing this calm control, but also engagement just helps transition this relationship, and he's going to start understanding that you are his family. So do this multiple times a day for the first week. Now, this is also a replacement behavior. So there were 2 behaviors that Bruno loved to do. So jumping was one. He's a very, very bouncy guy, and then pawing. So both of those are negative behaviors. That's him just trying to get our attention. So this greeting is a replacement behavior for those. So my expectation is that he sits and he waits politely. If he were to jump up on me, I'm going to step into him and tell him off. Okay? Bruno. So if he were coming towards me, I would step in, tell him off, expect him not to jump. If he was jumping up on the couch or up on the counter or anything like that, I would tell him off and I would clap or something to drive that point home. So he's never allowed to jump up on me. He's never allowed to jump up on anything, any furniture, anybody else. He's also not allowed to meet me halfway for the treat. Bruno, come here. So when I give him a treat, and especially when we're practicing this, all 4 paws need to be on the ground. Now, I give him the treat primarily in the palm of my hand, and I just cover it with my thumb. So that way, when I'm ready for him to take it, I can just open that up and give it to him. He does not need to jump up and meet me halfway. So kids always want to give puppies treats between their thumb and pointer finger, which is kind of asking to get bit. We have practiced this and we've taught him to command gently. So you can use this anytime you feel like he's being a little overly excited and you feel his teeth, but I can tell him gently and I expect him to be very soft. So when we're doing this greeting exercise, I don't want him jumping. I don't want him meeting me halfway or nipping my fingers. I want him in control. Now, when you're doing this, so the first 2 or 3 times, when he comes over, he sits, you say, okay, you give him a treat. On that third one, I'll go down and I'll pet him now. Oh, good boy, good boy, yeah. So I can give him some love. Yeah, that's a good boy. And I expect him to be very polite. Yeah, you're gonna roll over and let me rub your belly. Oh, good boy. Now, if I were down here petting him and he decided to try and climb up in my lap, I would tell him off and I would scoot him away. So I'm gonna back up just a hair so you can see this. Bruno, come here. So I love petting him, but yeah, even if one paw came up, I would tell him off. Okay, because if we let one paw, then it's 2 and then he's in my face. And when I tell him off, I slide him away. So I want to make sure that I create some separation to where I can take my hands away. Because my hands give all good things. They give pets, they give treats, and so they're like the best thing in the world to a puppy. So if I go, oh no, don't jump on me, but I keep my hands on him, he's like, well, this is weird, but you're petting me. And so he leans in. So if I'm gonna actually correct him, I need to slide him away and remove my hands. So that way it's a very clear indication that I don't like that and it's not correct. Very similar, if I was down here loving on him and he decided to try and mouth me. Because Bruno, you're about there, is still teething, so he's still gotta lose his canines, he's gotta lose these caps in the back. And so he's still wanting to mouth a little bit, but he's not allowed to put his teeth on me. And so if he started like chewing on my watch band or anything, I would tell him no, and I would cover his muzzle. So I'm not clamping down, it's not, harming him at all, it's just no, and then I take my hands away. Once he shows that he can be in control, I can go back to petting him again. If he did it a second time, I'd close his muzzle and then stand up. So removing myself. So anytime I'm interacting with Bruno, I want him to be calm and in control. Oh, you good boy. Good boy. Now, if we were out on a walk, you're gonna have people all the time that say, oh my gosh, your dog's so cute, can I pet him? Which where we've done a lot of the service prep, we've been working a lot on Bruno ignoring other people. But even with all of my puppies, I say 95% of the time I'm telling people, no, they cannot pet my dog. Which, once again, if you want him to be a service dog, then it needs to be more like 100% of people ignore your dog. Now, the reason I say 95% of the time is because maybe 5% of the time you run into somebody that you know, so we're gonna sit there and have a conversation, or like I'm a sucker for little kids because I have little kids and they're the ones that I let pet the puppies. Adults, I'm like, absolutely not, you do not need to see my dog. So the polite way to do that though is if you're on a walk, somebody asks to see your dog, just say, no, he's in training, and that's when I'll move him to the side. Come here. Have him sit in front of me and I will engage with him. Now, come here. If it's somebody I know or somebody I am going to let pet Bruno, I still will tell them, yes, this is Bruno. I do need him to be in control though. And so if you'll give me a second, then I'll let you pet him. And I'll walk up, I'll stop like 5 or 6 feet short, have Bruno do this sit for me, make sure that he's under control, and then I can allow them to come up and pet him. If he starts pulling towards them, I'm gonna correct him. If he tries to jump, I'm gonna correct him and walk away. Okay, he does not get to be out of control, because other people very quickly destroy all the hard work that we've done for your dog. Bruno, if he's allowed to jump up on people or even pull that last 3 feet, then Bruno thinks, oh, with strangers, I can get away with all of this. And that's a big reason why I just say, no, nobody needs to pet my dog. And that's also why I stop short, because if I'm here and he's already, planted, when people approach, it's a lot easier for me to correct him. and it's more comfortable to correct him that way versus if I'm walking up to him in that last 3 feet, he pulls ahead. Because you absolutely will get people that he goes to jump and you go to correct him and they say, no, it's okay, I love dogs. Which is the one thing that drives me absolutely bonkers, because I don't care how much somebody else loves dogs. I love my dog being well-mannered. Huh, good boy. The other thing that you can do is you can tell him to stay and then allow the people to come up and pet him, so that way he does stay planted and he doesn't try and get up and wrap them up. The other thing I'll say with this is just, even with you and your family, Bruno doesn't have to sit every single time you want to pet him. If he's walking past, you can absolutely love on your dog, but we really want this expectation with the greeting when we've been gone, or times that he's really excited, or just regular check-ins throughout the day, just to help him understand that you are the leader. Okay? But like I said, you don't have to do that every single time you want to pet him. Good boy, huh? Okay. So that's the greeting and jumping and mouthing. Now, if he is chewing on something he's not supposed to, I will correct that and then redirect him into something appropriate. Like I said, he's in kind of the heat of teething right now, and so he needs things to chew on. So I give him things to chew on, especially if we've got a downtime. I'll give him a toy or a bully stick, just something productive that he can chew on, and that way he's not finding something and destroying it. If he does find something, once again, we'll tell him no, and then I'll redirect him into something appropriate. And I do try and match texture here. So if he starts chewing on something soft, like a bed or a pillow or a blanket, I'll tell him no and then give him something like this plush toy that he can chew on. If he starts chewing on something hard, like a table leg or a baseboard, something like that, then I'll give him something like a bully stick, something a little bit harder that he can get into. If he picks up like a shoe or a stuffed animal, something that he's not supposed to have, we can use the drop it command here. And drop it, though, we want to make sure that we regularly practice this command. And the way that I practice it is just incorporating myself into his play. So where he has his toy, I can just say, Bruno, drop it. Good, no. So there, he let go of it, but then he tried to pick it up again, and that's why I corrected him. It's not like he took it and tried to run, but he dropped it, and then he tried to pick it up again. So I want him to drop it and look at me and allow me to take it. Okay, good boy. But I'll say good when I take it, and then okay when he gets it back. Good boy, Bruno. Drop it. So here, he kind of, hey, nope, walked past me, which we're going to try that again. Nope. We're a little overly excited, huh? Okay, so there where he ignored me, he was trying to get somewhere to chew on it. That's why there I'm going to have him do a little check-in, have him sit before I give it back to him. So, Bruno, drop it. Good boy. Okay. Now, if he refused, I would tell him no, give him a second to process, and then I would take it from him. Bruno, drop it. Good. See how no. So there he kind of tried to grab it back from me. Nope. He doesn't get it unless I say okay. So even here, I could tell him okay, and then he can have it back. But I don't want him thinking he can take it until I allow him to. Bruno, drop it. Good boy. See, just like that. He should let go. I should be able to take it. Now, if I had to take it from him, I just wrap his lips around his canines and open his mouth. I can ask for little check-ins. Okay, good boy. Which just having him sit would be one of those little check-ins. And then we can throw it. Notice he always comes back to his bed. That's where he likes to lay and chew on his stuff. It's either that or on a rug over here in the corner. Bruno, drop it. Good. Kind of thought about it there, but then he let go, allowed me to take it. Okay. Also notice that I'm giving the toy back to him as a reward. I'm never giving him treats. And so I don't mix the two. I don't like to ask for a drop it with the toy, give him a treat, and then try and throw the toy again, because he will end up forgetting about the toy and just wanting the food. But now if I'm taking it away, then I may give him a treat because I'm kind of replacing it. Bruno, drop it. Good. Good boy. Okay. We've spent a lot of time just making sure that Bruno's comfortable with me handling him. Come here. Handling him when he has a toy, when he has a bully stick, anything like that. I want to make sure that there's no resource guarding. Let's check those ears. Oh, good boy. We handle his ears. We handle his muzzle. Oh, good boy. We've clipped his nails multiple times. We've trimmed between his eyes, hygiene cuts. Oh, we put him through all sorts of fun positions. Oh, yeah. Making sure that he's just very comfortable. Huh, good boy. And anytime that I put him through really uncomfortable situations, I always pay him. Make sure that he's being rewarded. And being a doodle, he needs groomed frequently. So we've spent a lot of time. So here, he's gonna know where he wanted to bite the brush. I'm gonna tell him no, cover his muzzle. So that was firm, but that wasn't mean. I wasn't hurting him, but he's just very energetic right now. And so he needed just a quick reminder, and then we're good. Huh. Good boy. But he's been brushed pretty well every single day. Huh. Good boy. So he's good about that. Okay. Huh, are you a good boy? But yeah, you can just see, very used to being handled and being good with it. So the other thing I do want to mention, I guess, with the toy and drop it. So anytime Bruno is playing with children, or especially little children, I like to have a toy available. So that way, if you get a child that's maybe a little bit nervous around him, Bruno has something to go after. And so if they're playing, we don't want him obviously grabbing a pant leg or knocking a child over. So they have this toy, and then they can throw the toy and direct him away. We also don't want them running away from Bruno, because if we run away, Bruno, he's going to follow, right? If I'm moving backwards, he's going to chase. So if you do have a child that is a little bit nervous and Bruno's running after him, it's important that once again we just step into him, because if we step in, we restrict the space and he's less likely to jump. Now his mealtime. So every time that we feed Bruno, I expect him to hold an automatic sit-stay. So I usually just shake that bowl, he'll plant himself, and then I can set it down, step back, and he's waiting for me to release him. So we try and add, some harder distractions with it, and just obviously working on impulse control. Okay, good boy. He loves his food, but we also make sure that he's not going to get aggressive or try and guard his food. I don't typically take his food away from him, because that would drive me nuts if somebody came and stole my food while we were eating. But sometimes I do like to throw treats in there, just make it so that it's a positive thing. And then we can also work on this and make it harder too. Okay, good boy. That, and I don't want him to fill completely up because we've got a lot more to cover. But he hasn't shown really any type of resource guarding with his food or toys or treats with me. Huh, you a good boy? Okay, I believe that is all of our manners. So these are the things that you're really going to focus on the first few days, helping him make sure that he's calm and in control. He's offering the greeting, waiting at doorways, dropping things, not jumping, not chewing, things like that. So now we are going to dive into his obedience commands. So I'm going to pull out this bed, make it a little bit easier. We're going to go over place, then crate, sit down and stay, and leave it. So all of these, I have way higher expectations than I do with our 8-week puppies. So with his place, Bruno, place. So he'll stay there. I think the longest I've had him there is about 10 minutes now. So he's doing really well with that. And that's with moderate distractions. If we've got really heavy distractions, then it's usually a little bit shorter. But he'll allow me to leave the room. I've put him in place and went in my office and answered emails. I've went out, checked the mail, went in the back and got other dogs. Like, he's doing really, really well with all of that. Now, when I put him in place, my expectation is that all 4 paws are on the bed and he stays there. Now, we have been building this up to where it can be anything with a defined boundary. So we've done this out in public where we've used pallets. We've brought out the hula hoop. We've done rugs, like anything that has a boundary. If it's a flat boundary like a rug, we do need to help him understand where that boundary is. However, these elevated beds make it really easy for him to understand. And that's where we're getting these 10-minute stays. So the harder the distraction, the more I'm going to reinforce it. So here, let's see, he's kind of stood up good. So if he's doing it correctly, I can come up and tell him, oh, good boy, and give him another treat. So I will give him the treats when he's on, but when I release him, I do not give him a treat because I don't want to build a charge. I want to make sure that he understands that he's going to get way more rewards by staying on that place than by breaking. See, and he's kind of anticipating it right now, so we can kind of make things harder, walk around. I'm going to walk outside and we'll knock and see how he does with that. You'll notice that I don't care that he moves around, shifts, as long as all 4 paws are on that bed. Good. So I like to reinforce when he's calm. One of the hardest distractions for Bruno is petting him. So that was with the service prep. Having him stay while people come up and pet him was the hardest one for him to overcome because he loves people and then he wants to follow. And so coming up and, oh, that's a good boy, petting him. Oh, yeah, that's a good boy, huh? Oh, yeah, that's a good dog. That's usually when he wants to follow. We've also practiced, doing loud noises, things like that around him. So this one's going to be nice and loud with a bowl. Good. And so we're just always adding just new things with it. So we have our 3Ds. That's distance, duration, distraction. By adding different things there, builds a solid stay. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Place. Good. Here, we'll try and trick him. Just dropped a treat right there. That's a good one. So I'll use, no. Good. See how I could say no and he corrected himself? And that's a heavy distraction, having a treat right there. Especially when he thinks that I didn't realize that it was there. So that was great that he was able to correct himself. And now I'll even go up and show him that if he's patient, he can then get it. Okay, good boy. I don't think he didn't recognize there, so I'll say it one more time. Okay, Bruno, good boy. Good boy. And now I'm going to slide this bed back again. So I love the place command. It's my favorite command. I think it's super applicable. I haven't used this blanket before, I don't think. So even this, I can say, Bruno, place, and send him on. Good. And then he knows he's supposed to stay. Understand that boundary. So, but I love the place command. So here, no. So there's a break. Good. I'll back him up, mark that. And then I expect him to stay. So I use the place command when people come to the door. So I teach my dogs that when we hear that knock or the doorbell, he's expected to go to his place, bringing in groceries, anything like that. So a lot of different ways that you can use it. Maybe you're on a walk and you can send him to place and have him sit on a stump. Like there's a lot of different things there. Okay, good boy. Nope, I'm gonna take it. Okay. So that's place. Like I said, that's my favorite command. Very similar to place is going to be the crate command. So Bruno, crate. So he gets the treat when he goes in, not when he comes out. Okay, okay, Bruno. Good boy. Crate. And this one I'm not going to have him stay near as long, because if it was going to be a longer term stay, I would just simply close the door. Okay, good boy. Crate. When teaching him a new crate, you might have to actually stick your hand in and kind of guide him, but we're well past that, where I can just point. If he was also hesitant, I could just tap on the top. Okay, good boy. All right, so now we have sit down and stay. So the hand signal for sit is a little scoop over the nose. Down, I'll take a flat palm and off to the side, and then stay as a stop sign. So I'm gonna stand Bruno up here, and we'll reset his sit. We do have both a sit and a down stay. Sit, stay. So with our service prep, we've added a lot more distractions, made this a lot harder of a command, which right now we actually have a great distraction going on. One of my trainers just walked in with her baby, and so she's over in the corner, and Bruno's doing a great job just focusing on me. So with my normal program, our expectation is that they should be able to stay for 20 seconds with moderate distractions. Right now, Bruno's doing probably closer to 45 seconds with a little bit heavier distractions. So I should be able to come up and give him a treat even, and have him continue to stay, come up and pet him. One of the harder ones that we're continuing to work on, is being able to walk all the way around him. He does really well with that in a down stay. Sit stays a little bit harder because we're sitting up, but he's doing really, really well. Okay, good boy. So now for our down, so I'm going to ask him to sit first. Sit, down. So my hand's flat. Here there we go, stay. He wasn't really looking at the hand signal, he was looking at my hand that's behind my back because it has a treat in it. So I didn't ask for it again, I just was patient, held that hand signal there, allowed him to comply. If he continued to struggle or continue to ignore that, I would just simply get lower. So with his downstays, he's doing a minute, no problem, with some heavier distractions. So once again, the one that we've been working on is being able to walk completely around him. Notice how his head moves. So that's what makes this so difficult, is teaching them that they can switch their head around to keep eye contact versus standing up and following me with their body. So we'll throw a treat on the ground, add a little bit more distractions there. A couple treats on the ground. So petting him, this is a big one. See there, you could see there, he was anticipating it, but he still stayed, which was fantastic. Okay, good boy. So I'm going to release him and let him eat a couple of those. And then we'll do it one more time here. Bruno, so sit. So here, little hesitation, I'm going to step into him. We're like really hesitating. So here, if he just seems really confused, I'm going to reset him completely. Stay. But notice once again, I didn't repeat myself, but he was staring at my hand, he was staring at me, just seemed a little bit confused. So instead of getting frustrated and going sit, 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 I just took the leash, we stepped back, and then reset the whole situation to help him succeed. Now you'll notice he was in a sit stay and he laid down. I am completely fine with that. However, if I put him in a down stay, he's not allowed to come up into a sit. Yeah. So even here where he was in a sit stay and then he laid down, he's still not allowed to come back up into a sit. Okay, good boy. Sit. Down. Good. Stay. Now, if he breaks, once or twice, that's fine, it happens. I'll tell him no, and then have him do it again. However, if he breaks a third time, it's too hard. Whatever's going on, whether he's tired, whether there's too hard of a distraction, whatever the reason, it's too hard. And so I do not want him to break a fourth time. So I will simplify it, even if that means breaking it down to the simplest form where he's only doing a 3-second stay. I just want to make sure that I get a success so that he doesn't get frustrated and I don't get frustrated. We always want to end on a success. Okay, good boy. Okay, so the next command we're going to talk about is our leave it command. So we practice our leave it command a lot on our walks. Bruno always likes to go and find something to pick up, but here I'm going to set him up with some dog treats in a container. We're just going to casually pretend that I just spilt this. And I'm going to expect him to leave it alone. And anytime that we're practicing this, especially in a setup situation like this, I do like to take a hold of the leash. That way I can guarantee that we are going to have success. And so I'm going to call him over. Bruno, come here. And I want him to kind of check it out. You can already see he's a little skeptical here. Bruno. It might be too easy for him, huh? So once he notices here, yeah, he's completely skeptical of me. So if he were to go for this, come here, I would just tell him leave it. And once I actually ask for a leave it, I expect him to completely leave it alone. Like, don't look at it, don't sniff it, don't touch it. So like I said, we practice this a lot on walks. Other applications would be if you're in the kitchen, you drop something you don't want him to get. I can just ask for a leave it. Which, I'm not fooling him with the treats today. Maybe now, where he's a little more invested, we can see, come here, Bruno. Bruno. Yeah. Leave it. So there, we'll see if he tries to be sneaky here. Good. So you can see he just completely left him alone. So even that, trying to get him, I was right there next to it, tried to even stick some in front of his face. He still left alone, which was great. So with that, now we are going to adjust our camera angle. We'll go over his leash work. So we'll cover his heel, what to do if he pulls, engagement, his long lead walk, and then we'll finish everything up with his recall command. Heel. All right, so we're going to talk about Bruno's heel. Good boy, good boy. So heel is for you. This is not how we exercise Bruno. This is how we get from point A to point B. This is how we pass distractions. Good boy. So the objective here during a heel is he's on my left side, right here next to my knee. Good boy. Consistently paying attention to me. I don't mind that he looks forward to see where we're going, but the bulk of his attention needs to be on me. When I stop, he should stop and sit. Good boy. And then I should just be able to tell him heel, and he will walk with me. So he should match my pace. So if I speed up, he should speed up. If I slow down, he'll slow down. So obviously we're doing this inside right now. I plan on going outside and showing you this on the road too. We've practiced this heel in public a lot. Good boy. And he's done very well. But if I want him to ignore, hey, good boy. If I want him to ignore distractions, I have to be pretty distracting myself. So I need to give him a lot of feedback. Good boy. And that's why when we make eye contact, I'm telling him good boy. and I'm treating him every 20, 30 seconds. If you just completely ignore him on a heel, and once again, the purpose of a heel is to walk past a distraction. So if there's another dog and I'm just walking, not paying attention to him, he's probably going to get distracted. So I want to make sure that he's focused on me, engaging with me, and walking politely. So give him a lot of feedback. Bruno, good boy. So once again, when I stop, he stops. The other thing I want you to notice is this is a short leash anyway, but I give him about 1.5 feet of space. So that way I can give him quick feedback. If he even gets a step ahead of me, I can give him just a quick little pop on the leash, help him understand that he's going too far. I can also use the leash pressure to give him information. If I'm going to step through him, I can give him a little leash pressure to the side, or if I'm walking the other direction, give him a little leash pressure that way. I always have him on my left side, and if there's a distraction, I always put it on my right side. So that way my body language also helps kind of block those distractions, helps him understand what he's supposed to be doing, which Bruno does a great job on his heel. Oh, good boy, good boy. Now, if we're going to be standing, waiting for long periods of time, I can tell him to stay right here. Good boy. Okay, so that's kind of the expectation and the direction of the heel. This, out of everything that we've taught him, this is going to be the one that takes the most practice to transition over, and that's because it's so relationship dependent. So he trusts us, he sees us as a leader, he needs to develop that relationship with you. So start slow. One, I wouldn't try and heel him for the first week. Instead, give him time to decompress, focus on building that relationship with him, and then you can build onto it. Nope. Good. So when you start the heel with Bruno, start in an environment where there's very limited distractions. That's actually why I'm filming this in here right now, so that you can see, like, we want to focus on quality over quantity. I want to practice this walk and focus more on him paying attention to me and me rewarding him, so we can start to develop this relationship where he trusts me, he knows that I'm going to pay him out for being a good boy. Once I feel like he's doing really well in an environment with limited distractions, so you could even start in the home, then I'll go outside and I might just walk up and down the path, right? Try and do it at a time where there's less people around, focus on this relationship. It doesn't have to be very long. So our heel usually is like 2 to 5 minutes. So it's very short, but obviously it's very focus-based. And he has a short attention span as is, and so we need to cater to that. As he's doing well with limited distractions, progressively add more and more distractions. Right now, we can walk through the food trucks and he does just fine. He'll ignore everybody around, and obviously he smells the food, but he will focus on me. So he's doing really well with that. Like I said, hopefully I'll go outside and I'll film a little part of this so you can see walking outside on the road, because I would like to do some recalls outside as well. So that's the heel. Now, he's never allowed to pull, no matter the length of the leash. If he does, there's kind of a progression level that I'll follow. So if I feel like he's just a little bit distracted, I'll just use his name or some kissy noises to get his attention. So it's like, hey, something like that, just to get him to look at me. And if he can refocus with that, great. I don't need to correct him because he's just a little distracted. But if he actually started to pull, so if he was charging forward, I would tell him no and pop this leash. So I'm not yanking him around, it's never to inflict harm, and I'm going to step in and pop up. And don't get caught up, like if it's in the heat of the moment, you have another dog coming, something like that, and you just pop him once, that's fine. I'm not worried about that, we just need some sort of a correction. But I'll go no, pop, pop. If he focuses on me, then I'll say good boy, and we'll start walking. I'll take a few steps and then reward him. But if he ignored that, or if he went back to pulling, I will correct him that same way one more time, but I'll get a little more firm. So it's like, he ignored me, it's no, pop, pop. He continued to ignore me, no, pop, pop. So a little bit more firm. I know you didn't do anything wrong. If that doesn't work, if he continues to pull, it's insanity to continue to just sit there and tell him no and pop the leash. Like, it's clearly not working, so we need to switch it up. So my next step would be to come to a complete stop. We are not progressing whether that's towards a distraction or away from a distraction, until you are in control. So I will come to a complete stop. He should sit, and we'll kind of have a little pep talk where I'll be like, hey, can we focus? Now, if I feel like he's just distracted, I'll go ahead and I will practice his heel right here, especially with the distraction. We'll do some corrective U-turns. I'll do what I call my sporadic walking, where he can't guess which way I'm going or when I'm going to stop, but I'll just practice his heel. Which a corrective U-turn would be if I had him up. Come here. So we'll actually walk away. Corrective U-turn is me turning away from him. So if he got out here in front of me, I would just quickly turn away, and that leash tightens. So it's just boop. So this way he's kind of forced to pay attention to what I'm doing. So that's a corrective U-turn. So I'll either do that, or once again, my sporadic walking is just like, you never know which way I'm going to go. It's like I'm turning this way. Oh, now I'm turning this way. Now I'm going to stop. And so it just kind of forces him to watch me. So that's how I'll practice that. Or I might just do a contact heel, where it's like I'll tell him to heel, and I have this treat right in front of his nose, and we're just walking past the distraction. So those are 3 ways that I would work on the heel in that situation. But let's say he's no longer distracted, but he's reactive. So whatever it is, it's a heavy distraction, whether it's another dog barking at him or just something he's never seen before, and all of a sudden he's like, wah, 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 wah. He's barking at it. Maybe he's trying to run towards it, maybe he's trying to run away, but he's just overly reactive. At this point, trying to heel it's not going to work very well. So instead, I would rather engage with him. So engagement, as soon as I decide he's reactive, I'm initially going to get some distance from the distraction. So I will step through him, kind of back him up, and we're going to quickly get some distance. So there's always an amount of distance I can get to where he will start to come out of that reactive state. Whether it's 10 or 15 feet, maybe it's 50 feet, but I'm going to back him up. I'm going to get him a little bit further away from the distraction, and then I'm going to put my back towards the distraction and engage with him. So I will reward simple victories here, where it's like, oh, you're looking at me? Good boy. You're sitting? Good boy. You're not barking? Good dog. So I'm being very quick to reward those simple victories. But I'm also giving simple corrections. So if he tries to dodge around me, it's just, no. Oh, you made eye contact? Good. So there's a lot of corrective markers as well as reward markers mixed in. But I'm just helping him re-engage with me. As he is sitting, he's paying attention, he's no longer barking or reacting at that distraction, then I'll open up and face it. And if we can, do you need to go to the bathroom? Just where he got up and started going that way, and I stopped him, made me think, we'll hurry and finish this and we'll go outside. So if he can face the distraction and not react, then maybe we'll continue walking towards it. But if he started barking again, I'd step between and focus on engaging with him. Yeah, good boy. A lot of times when I'm engaging with him, we're going to wait until that distraction leaves. Sometimes it's like, okay, I guess we're going the opposite direction of the distraction. Let's just get some distance from it and focus on building confidence versus trying to drag him through a distracted environment and making him fearful. Now, I like to set up times to practice engagement, which I just call it the art of doing nothing. It's like, hey, let's go sit on a park bench and watch the world go by. And as you're calm, I'm going to reward you. We watched a biker go past. You looked at me. Good boy. You saw a stroller. Good boy. Another dog. Good boy. A horse. Good boy. All right. So this is what we've done as we've socialized him. We've taken him to a lot of different places and just helped him relax and be calm. So set up times where you can go to the racetrack and sit there and watch the world go by and just reward him for being calm. If he seems a little bit nervous, get some distance and then build it up and gradually get closer and closer. So we want to make sure that we build confidence, but we don't want to coddle him. Okay? So set up times to do that. Okay, so that's the heel, what to do if he pulls, and what to do if he gets reactive. If I'm going to exercise Bruno, I'm not using a short leash. I'm going to put him on a long lead. So I'm going to we'll grab this one right here. So this is a 15-foot long lead, which I feel like is a great length for maybe more crowded environments. Oh, you just want some love. You can tell that he's getting very tired, huh? So when he's on this long lead, it's his walk. It should be an enriching walk where he can go and sniff the flowers. He can go check things out, and we go at his pace. I get used to stepping over the lead, turning, switching hands, all of that. But he's still not allowed to pull, so when he hits the end of the leash, I'll just call him to come. So this is how I practice my recall, and I practice it a lot. So my recall is, Bruno, come. Good boy, okay. So I say his name, there's a brief pause, then I say come. The moment he gives in, I say good boy to encourage it, and when he gets to me, I say okay. So we practice his recall a lot. That's a lot of this walk is just, Bruno, come. Good boy, okay. If he ignores me, I have the lead, and I just tell him no and give him a little pressure. It doesn't take very much pressure to get him to cave in, which, same thing, I'm going to do this outside and show you a little bit more. But it's just, Bruno, come. Good boy. Oh, threw a treat at you. I'm going to practice this a lot before I ever let him off leash. Okay? But you should, this is my favorite way to walk him, is just put him on a long lead, go for a walk, practice your recall, make it so it's fun. So we're going to pretend that he ignored me. So I would just tell him, no. Oh, good boy. And he's very receptive to the no. So with that, we're going to, once again, I've said it like 3 times, but I'm going to go outside, show you this again, and then let him off leash so that you can see his off leash recall. All right, so now I have Bruno outside. We've got a lot going on with some construction noises, and of course, a lot going on here out in the country is not as much as being in town. But I just want to show you the long lead walk, as well as how I can quickly transition into a heel while on a long lead walk, and then do his off leash recall. So we kind of already talked about the expectations with these 2 walks. But once again, just to kind of show you this transition. So I can just call Bruno. Bruno, come. Good boy, okay. So if I needed him then to walk past a distraction, I can just shorten this lead and ask him to heel. Heel. And he should walk nicely with me. Good boy. And so once again with his heel, he's paying attention to me. Doesn't matter where we are, whether we're on a road or whether we're in the grass. The expectation is the same, that he's keeping pace. Heel. Good boy. And paying attention to me. Now, then I can also just say, okay, good boy. And now with okay, I release him from that heel and he can have his space back, which Bruno likes to kind of hang out close a lot of times anyway. He loves his treats. So he doesn't venture too far off. But it's really easy on this long lead. You see a distraction coming, we can just call him to us, wrap that up, tell him heel, and expect him to walk. Now, Bruno, good boy. Again, we've been practicing this off-leash obedience, so I can let him off and give him this space, and I am still confident that he is going to respond and come when called. This takes a lot of practice. It takes time to build this relationship. And so that's why I say practice on the long lead for a while first, and then build up to this. Oh, Bruno. We might even do some longer stays here too. Bruno, come. Good boy. Good boy. Bruno, sit, stay. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Bruno, come. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Down. Stay. So he's doing great. With the off-leash recall, if he ever ignores me, I'm going to immediately tell him no, go and get him. I never play chase, like I'm never going to run after him, but I can play a little reverse psychology and clap and get low, and Bruno will usually come to me. Okay, good boy. So if he was ignoring me, I could go, Bruno, come, hey, hey, oh, good boy, and he will follow me. But if he ignored me, I would tell him no, I'd kind of stalk him, and if he then decided to come to me, I would say, good boy, and reward that. Even if I had to go 90% of the way there, because I never want to reprimand him for coming to me. But if I had to get 100% of the way there, then once I got to him, I'd tell him no, hook a leash on, or take him by the collar and say, Bruno, come, good boy, and have him follow me. So that's how I would follow through with that command. So once again, he's doing really well. He's been a super fun dog to train, so I think you guys are going to really enjoy him. As you watch this, if you have any questions, please let me know. But thanks again for letting us train Bruno.